This is an introduction to the Forrest Manufacturing Model 204 vertical blade traveling table fitting saw. A little bit about our terminology. We use the phrase fitting saw to refer to any of our machines that are included, or that include features for making fabricated insulation fittings. Elbows, T's, mitered Y's, valve bodies, any kind of rigid insulation shape commonly used around piping and related mechanical insulation. So it includes what we call a miter bar, flipper bar, and a T-square. These are very specific to the insulation fabrication market and can be deleted from the saw. But what you wind up with is a vertical blade traveling table bandsaw, relatively high-speed blade, around about 3,000 feet per minute blade speed, meant for cutting light and medium density materials, foams, plastics, insulations, bubble wrap, pretty much anything other than metal. This is probably our least commonly sold fitting saw, but it is my personal favorite saw. The reason for that is this machine is built heavy duty, much more than most installation work requires. The standard fitting saws are built with 14-inch diameter wheels, can carry up to about a 3/4 inch wide blade. This machine is built with 20-inch diameter blade wheels, can carry easily a 1-inch wide blade, and in some cases a 1 1/4 inch wide blade. So the wheels are bigger, shafts are bigger, bearings are bigger. Comes standard with a 2 horsepower 3-phase brake motor, making sure you have plenty of power. Can be upgraded to a 5 horsepower motor. So it's a very versatile saw. I get a lot of use out of this, and I prefer this as my own saw for test cutting. The problem is every time I build one of these for myself, somebody comes along and buys it out from under me. We also have a version of this we call the Model 204 Heavy. Difference is this standard Model 204 uses what we call a cantilever style traveling table. The rails are effectively built into the table. The bearings are mounted to the saw head. Advantage is it leaves you clear space. I compare this to a desk drawer slide, where if you imagine this is your desk and you just pull out the drawer. Unlike our Model 204 Heavy, 236 Heavy, and our large Model 2054, which have very high capacity tables, they will have rails and stands supporting the table here. This is a very clean, easy to work with saw because it doesn't have all those rails and everything. The limitation is the amount of weight. First, I should note, these machines should always be anchored to the floor. Not everybody does, but it should be. If you don't, you risk making the machine tippy. Because if I pull this table all the way out, and if me and one of my even heavier friends were to sit on the edge of this table, I can conceivably rock this whole saw forward. Anchored to the ground, you're okay. And really, we limit these things to, I think, about 350 pounds max weight on the table, distributed load. But this is the Model 204 standard version. I just want to give you a quick introduction. Wouldn't be an introduction unless I was cutting something. So I've got just this big old block of foam to play with here. One of the standard pieces of the fittings fabrication kit is what we call a T-square. Set it up as a work stop. Basically, it's a simple rip fence to use as a backstop for fitting. The miter bar here, for my insulation customers, this can swing and preset the angle for mitered elbows. For what I'm doing here, I'm going to set the pin at 0 degrees, and I've got myself a framing square. So I can throw my workpiece, place my workpiece up on the table, press it up against the effectively framing square, and the stop, get a repeatable cut. Another feature of this machine and larger, comes with the hand crank style guide post. All our machines have an adjustable guide post. This one has the crank style. The blade is protected with this guard. And the idea is, now that I've hidden it from you, raise the upper blade guide above the workpiece only as far as you need to. Maybe the full height and a ½ inch more. Does two things for you. First off, it's safer. By only exposing the working portion of the blade, you reduce the risk of exposure, accidental contact of the operator with the blade. And this shortens the distance of free blade. So there's another blade guide here under the table. You got this blade guide. The shorter that distance between the blade guides, the more stable your blade. So lower the upper blade guide to something a ½ inch or an inch just above the top of your workpiece. This machine is also fitted out with a dust collection system. Below the table is a dust nozzle. I have it connected to our Model 989 dust collection system. Keeps the dust under control. I've cut this stuff before. It is very dusty. So you'll be unhappy or spending the rest of the afternoon with a broom if you don't have some kind of dust collection. So I will turn on the dust collection system, turn on the motor. This, by the way, uses a magnetic motor starter with an overload, protect the operator and the machine. And it'll rip off a cut for you. Dust collection system, safety glasses, start saw blade motor. Just that easy. This is a very easy cutting foam, maybe 1.5 pound per cubic foot. I'm not sure the exact variety of this foam. Pretty easy cutting stuff. It'll cut much higher density materials. We've done other videos illustrating that. The blade today is a ½ inch wide, 3 tooth per inch, but a very common blade for us. And that is the Model 204 fitting saw. Thank you.